Led by the enigmatic Magus Veridielle, the Genestealer Cults rise from the depths, armed with cunning strategies and relentless determination. We'll explore the secretive cult ambushes, the relentless assaults of the Acolyte Hybrids, and the unwavering strength of the Aberrants, and the devastating power of the Goliath Rockgrinder that will allow you to win with Genestealer Cults. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Miniatures Tavern. My name is Watts, and welcome to Win With, the series where we unlock the power of AI to craft unbeatable strategies for your favorite Warhammer 40,000 factions. Today, we're going to journey deep into the shadowy underworld of the Genestealer Cults, a faction of hidden threats and subversive tactics. Prepare to uncover the clandestine operations and unswerving devotion that drive these cultists to overthrow their oppressors. So let's go ahead and start this deep dive on how to win with Genestealer Cults by understanding the units that are in the box. And I want to apologize ahead of time. I am pup sitting, so you might hear some squeaky noise in the background. The Combat Patrol Genestealer Cult set is led by Magus Veridielle. She's a powerful psyker that can manipulate psionic energies to protect her followers or strike down foes. So the AI, the advanced language model that I have, is breaking down the units, and this is what we have included in the set. First, we got Magus Veridielle. She's going to be equipped with an auto pistol and a Magus stave. Her abilities are Psionic Shield, which is going to add 1 to saving throws against range attacks when leading a unit, and Renaissance Stave. Melee weapons have the Anti-Infantry 5 and the Devastating Wounds ability. Next up, we have the Neophyte Hybrids. You're going to get 20 models. They have a diverse loadout with auto pistols, hybrid firearms, close combat weapons, heavy stubber, seismic cannon, and Webers. If you want to know how to equip these for the Combat Patrol box, you could check out my Combat Patrol video. I will link it up here to the video. You could check that out. I had to eliminate the squeaky toy. It was too much. All right, the Neophyte Hybrids. There's 20 models. Their ability is Cult Ambush, which allows destroyed units to return to the battlefield. Next up, we have the Acolyte Hybrids. You're going to get 5 models. These are equipped with auto pistols, Colt Claws, and knives, including a leader with special weapons and a hybrid with demolition charges. Their ability is going to be Vile Insurrectionists. You're going to re-roll hit rolls of 1, and if they're near an objective, you're going to re-roll the wound rolls of 1 as well. Next up, we got the 5 Aberrants. They're equipped with heavy improvised weapons and power weapons, including a hypomorph with a special tail attack. These units are going to be your line breakers. They're strong, they're resilient, and they're ideal for close combat. And then finally, we got the Goliath Rockgrinder, which is going to be equipped with a clearance incinerator, a demolition charge cache, a heavy stubber, and a drill dozer blade. His abilities are Deadly Demise D3 and Firing Deck 6. All right, next up, we're going to try to look at and understand these unit capabilities, the way they are made to work on the battlefield with Combat Patrol. The Magus Veridielle is up first. Remember, she is the leader of this Combat Patrol box. Powerful psyker. She's equipped with an auto pistol and a Magus stave. She's got the 2 abilities, Psionic Shield, which adds 1 to the saving throws against ranged attacks when leading a unit. Resonant Stave. Melee weapons have Anti-Infantry 5 and Devastating Wounds. Her role on the battlefield is support and leadership. As the leader, Magus Veridielle enhances the performance of the units she's attached to, providing both moral and tactical advantages. Her leader ability, when leading a unit, she provides the Feel No Pain 5-up ability against psychic attacks, increasing the unit's resilience. Next up, we have the Neophyte Hybrids, the 20 models. Again, they have a diverse loadout. Their abilities are Cult Ambush, which allows destroyed units to return to the battlefield. If you want to understand that army rule a little bit better, again, check out the Combat Patrol video. The Hybrids, they're going to form the backbone of the Genestealer Cults in Combat Patrol. Their versatility, numbers, and resilience make them essential for a variety of tactical roles. Here's an in-depth look at their roles. Number one, objective control. They're ideal for securing and holding objectives due to their large size squad and resilience. Number two, number advantage. With up to 20 models in the set, they can spread across multiple objectives, making it difficult for opponents to contest or capture them all. And finally, resilience. Their ability to return to the battlefield via the Cult Ambush ability makes them particularly effective at maintaining control over objectives throughout the game. Super important. These are the workhorses, backbone of your army. The Acolyte Hybrids, you get 5 models. They're close combat specialists, so they are your wackadoos. They excel in melee combat, making them ideal for engaging enemy units up close and personal. They have powerful melee weapons equipped with cult claws and knives, heavy mining tools, and demolition charges. The hybrids can deal significant damage to a variety of target. And then you have the leader's cult weapon. The leader's enhanced weapons provide additional combat prowess, making the unit even more formidable in close quarters. Their main role is objective assault. While neophyte hybrids are great for holding objectives, acolyte hybrids are better suited for taking them. Their offensive capability: use the superior melee abilities to clear enemy units from objectives, making it easier for other units to secure and hold these points. And finally, demolition charges. The one-shot demolition charges can be used to deal massive damage to enemy units entrenched on objectives, making them a valuable asset for breaking through defenses. These are your go get 'em boys. Let's go get 'em boys. These are those guys. Next up, you have the Aberrants, 5 models. They are equipped with heavy improvised weapons, power weapons, including a hypermorph with a special tail attack. These units you're going to use as your line breakers. They are strong, resilient, and ideal for close combat. They're the heavy hitters of the combat patrol box and the resilient warriors in this combat patrol. Their immense strength and durability make them key players in breaking enemy lines and absorbing damage. And here's an in-depth look at their role. Number one, they're heavy hitters. Aberrants excel in close combat, bringing significant offensive power to your army. They are designed to engage and destroy tough enemy units. Heavy power weapons. These weapons allow Aberrants to deal massive damage, especially against heavily armored targets. And finally, the hypomorph. The hypomorph is equipped with a heavy improvised weapon, and the hypomorph tail provides additional attack power and versatility. Durability and resilience. They are highly resilient, capable of withstanding significant damage, making them ideal for frontline roles. And lastly, we have the Goliath Rockgrinder. He's equipped with a clearance incinerator, demolition charge cache, heavy stubber, and drill dozer blade. His abilities are Deadly Demise D3 and Firing Deck 6. The Goliath Rockgrinder is a versatile and powerful vehicle within the Genestealer Cults Combat Patrol. Its combination of firepower, durability, and unique abilities makes it a key asset on the battlefield. Here's a detailed look at its role. Mobile fire support. The Rockgrinder provides significant ranged firepower, making it an excellent choice for supporting your infantry and controlling key areas of the battlefield. And again, durability and resilience. As a vehicle, the Goliath Rockgrinder is more resilient than most infantry units, able to absorb significant amounts of damage. There we go. So now that we understand the composition of the units and we understand the roles that each unit is going to play in this combat patrol box, I took all those data sheets and all that information and I fed it into the advanced language model, and I asked it to come up with 3 stages of strategic play. We're going to take a look at early game deployment, we're going to take a look at mid-game deployment, and we're going to look at late game strategic play. So let's jump in with early game deployment and mobility for Genestealer Cults. Early game deployment and mobility are going to be crucial for setting the tone and gaining a strategic advantage in games of combat patrol. Here's how you can effectively deploy your units and utilize their mobility to dominate the early stages of the battle. Number 1, strategic deployment. A well-planned deployment sets the stage for your overall strategy. You want to focus on positioning your units to maximize their strengths and cover key areas of the battlefield. How are we going to deploy the Magus? You're going to deploy her in a central position. You're going to place her in a central location where she can influence multiple units. Her psychic abilities and enhancements are most effective when she can support a broad area. And you want to protect her with the neophytes. Position the neophyte hybrids around the Magus to provide a protective buffer. This keeps her safe from early enemy fire and allows her to boost their resilience with psionic shield. The neophyte hybrids, they're going to focus on objective control. So you want to deploy them near objectives to secure early control. You want to use their numbers to spread out and cover multiple points, making it difficult for the enemy to contest. Remember, your models have to be within 2 inches of each other for cohesion. So with 20 models, you can really fill and you can really screen and you can really take and hold objectives. Cult ambush, you want to utilize the cult ambush ability to place markers near potential hotspots. This is going to allow you to reinforce or re-engage in critical areas later. Okay, neophyte hybrids. Acolyte hybrids, they're going to be your forward deployment. You want to place the Acolyte hybrids in positions where they can quickly advance on enemy units or objectives. Their deep strike ability can be used to bring them into optimal positions if needed. And you want to be aggressive with these guys. You want aggressive tactics. Position them to threaten key enemy units or positions, forcing your opponent to react and potentially disrupt their plans. Also, Acolyte hybrids, forward deployment. Place Acolyte hybrids in positions where they can quickly advance on enemy units or objectives. We already talked about that. Aggressive tactics, we already talked about that. I apologize. I guess I brought that over. Aberrants, let's move there. Anchor points. You want to deploy the Aberrants in positions where they can absorb enemy fire and act as a frontline force. Their durability makes them ideal for holding critical areas early on, and you want to use them as flanking units. Consider deploying them on the flanks to push into enemy lines and create pressure from multiple angles. And finally, your Goliath Rockgrinder. The central role is you want to place the Rockgrinder centrally to provide mobile fire support and to quickly respond to threats on either flank. Also, you can use it as a transport. Load it with a unit of Acolyte hybrids for rapid development to critical areas, using its transport capacity to move them safely. Next up, we're going to take a look at some mid-game board control strategies. So, mid-game, you want to reinforce your positions with Cult Ambush. Cult Ambush remains a vital ability for maintaining pressure and reinforcing your lines. Strategic reinforcement. Use Cult Ambush to bring back destroyed units in strategic locations. Place markers near objectives, behind enemy lines, or in positions that threaten key enemy units. Apply continuous pressure. Deploy units from Cult Ambush to keep up the pressure on your opponent, forcing them to split their attention and resources. You want to leverage mobility of the Goliath Rockgrinder. He plays a crucial role in mid-game mobility and fire support. He's a dynamic threat, so you want to use his mobility to move quickly between hotspots on the battlefield, providing support where it's needed the most. And he can also provide objective support. Position the Rockgrinder near contested objectives to provide fire support and use its drill dozer blade to clear out enemy units. The Acolyte hybrids, you're going to want to be using them as shock troops mid-game. They're your shock troops. They're ideal for mid-game assaults and disrupting enemy formations. Deep Strike and Assault, utilize their Deep Strike ability to deploy them in positions where they can launch effective assaults on high-value targets or entrenched enemy units. And they're great for objective contesting. Use their combat prowess to clear and contest objectives, paving the way for other units to secure these points. You want to be aware of positioning and protecting your Magus. She continues to be a pivotal unit, providing both offensive and defensive capabilities. She's the central command. You want to keep Magus centrally positioned to maximize her influence on the battlefield, providing support to multiple units. And protective units. Use the Neophyte Hybrids or Aberrants to protect the Magus, ensuring she can continue to use her psychic powers effectively. Also in the mid-game, you want to utilize your Aberrants for line breaking. They're excellent for breaking through enemy lines and creating openings for other units. Frontline engagement, you want to deploy the Aberrants to engage tough enemy units and clear the path for your infantry to advance. And you definitely want them to disrupt. Use their durability and combat power to disrupt enemy plans, forcing your opponent to deal with them. Then you have objective control and contesting, which is something you definitely want to start doing mid-game. Maintaining control over objectives is crucial in the mid-game. Use your units strategically to secure and contest key points. Your Neophyte Hybrids, you want to keep those on objectives using their numbers and resilience to try to hold the positions. And then the Hybrids and Aberrants, you want to use these units to contest enemy-held objectives, clearing out opposition and securing valuable points. And finally, we're going to take a look at the late game, eliminating your opponent and objective securing. In the late game, you want to focus on eliminating key threats and securing objectives to clinch victory. Here's a concise guide that the advanced language model came up with for late game tactics. You want to eliminate key threats. Target priority. Focus on eliminating high-value enemy units that can still impact the game. Prioritize units holding objectives or providing significant firepower. Combined arms. Use the firepower of the Goliath Rockgrinder and the melee prowess of the Aberrants and Acolyte Hybrids to overwhelm and destroy enemy units. And finally, stratagems. Utilize stratagems like Defend the Magus to enhance your unit's effectiveness in critical combat. While you're eliminating, you also want to secure objectives. Your Neophyte Hybrids, position the Neophyte Hybrids on objectives to hold and control them. Their numbers and resilience make them ideal for this role. And then Cult Ambush. Keep redeploying units from Cult Ambush to reinforce objectives, reclaim lost ground, or contest enemy-held points. Magus Veridielle in late game, you want to ensure that she is within reach of key objectives, especially if aiming for the secondary mission, Will of the Patriarch. That's going to score you 15 points if she's within 3 or 6 inches of the center of the battlefield. You definitely want to make sure she's in that position in late game so that you can score on that. And finally, flexibility and adaptation, dynamic movements. Keep your units mobile, ready to shift focus to where they're needed the most. Use the Rockgrinder, again, for rapid redeployment. Remember, they can hop in and hop out of the Rockgrinder, so don't be afraid to use that. And also reactive tactics. Adapt to the evolving battlefield using your unit's mobility and resilience to respond to enemy moves and secure victory points. And finally, guys, the advanced language model came up with 3 tips and tactics that you should be aware of in games of combat patrol with the Genestealer Cults. First is master Cult Ambush. Here's the tip. Use Cult Ambush to consistently reinforce your positions and apply pressure on your opponent. The tactic is place Cult Ambush markers in strategic locations, such as near objectives or behind enemy lines. Use these markers to bring back units, surprise your opponents, and reclaim key positions. And the benefit of this is this ability keeps your opponent on their toes and ensures your forces remain a persistent threat throughout the game. The next tip is utilize the Rockgrinder's versatility. Leverage the Goliath Rockgrinder's mobility and firepower to control the battlefield. The tactic, use the Rockgrinder to transport Acolyte Hybrids for rapid deployment to critical areas. Its Clearance Incinerator and Drill Dozer Blade are perfect for clearing infantry and creating openings. And the benefit is the Rockgrinder provides both offensive and defensive capabilities, making it a key asset for dynamic battlefield control. And finally, the last tip is you want to maximize objective control. Focus on securing and holding those objectives with the Neophyte Hybrids, while using Acolyte Hybrids and Aberrants to contest and clear enemy-held points. The tactic for this is to deploy the Hybrids on objectives early and reinforce them using Cult Ambush. Use the Acolyte Hybrids Deep Strike to contest enemy objectives and the Aberrants to break enemy lines. and the benefit is controlling objectives is crucial for scoring victory points, and utilizing your units effectively ensures you dominate these key areas. Well, guys, there you go. Our deep dive and how to win with Genestealer Cults Combat Patrol. What did you think of the video? Please let me know in the comments. Do you play this Combat Patrol? I would love to hear from you. My wife is getting ready to play this Combat Patrol. She's slowly putting it together. So I'm excited to get this on the tabletop and film it to see how they play. It's got a lot of cool rules. I know that the new codex is coming out and that will change. But remember, you can play either Combat Patrol. You could play the old one and you could play the new one. So you really have a lot of flexibility. So this deep dive and this Combat Patrol overview is still very viable. If you play it, let me know in the comments. If you like the video, let me know in the comments. And if you have any recommendations for future deep dives and win with videos, please let me know those in the comments as well. Once again, my name is Watts. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you in the next video.